the roof is caked in shit.
I've been driving about in the Range Rover Velar D300 Dynamic SE for about a week now. Covered around 200 plus miles in it. Here are my thoughts. I really like the design of the Range Rover Velar, that sort of concept look. It's quite an attractive car. Oddly, considering you see quite a lot of them, it turns quite a lot of heads, especially in this really lovely blue colour. The blue, I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I'll probably not do it any justice, but it's lovely. I'll put the spec sheet up. You can have a look. This is a £70,000 car, and that's with extras. So the base price is £63,200, and this car has £7,760 worth of configured options. The boot's big on the car, but our Siberian Husky, she's about 22 centimetres high, weighs about 20 kilograms. She struggled to get into the car, so it was just too high. This car has an access mode, which allows you to drop the suspension when you unlock the car. Unlocking the car drops, you know, ever so slightly, and allows Doggo to get in the boot and allows humans to get inside. But even with this mode activated, she struggled to climb in, so I had to pick her up. Once she was in, she had lots of room. There's a little shade thing in the back window, like a partition that's actually connected to the tailgate, and that's removable. And of course you have the, you know, retractable parcel shelf, which also clips out too. That really helped her, you know, roam about, and especially our Shepkita, who's nearly 30 kilograms, she also struggled to get in. But, you know, once they were in, it was fine. The interior of this car is nice. It's very contemporary. There's a lot of, you know, nice fixtures and fittings, and it's a big but, is like many other cars now, everything was centred around a central touchscreen. And the central touchscreen, as quick as it may be, there's a lot of faffing and a lot of fiddling involved. Really, there aren't many buttons in this car. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. One thing I do like about this car is there's a button on the steering wheel that allows you to shut off that annoying lane keep assist. And there's also a configurable button which I have set up to stop the irritating ADAS speed warning. This car really loves to bing and bong. Wait, you'll hear this, look. Keeps going and going and going. You can set that button up to do whatever you want it to do. I just feel that it's better to have it the annoying ADAS stuff, because when you get back into the car, it turns back on again. The quality in here is fairly decent. Like, is it £70,000 worth though, or £60,000 for the base car? You get this beautiful big panoramic sunroof, which actually opens all the way up. It also has a power sunshade that goes backwards and forwards. It's well equipped. I'm about 5'11" and I can sit in the back fine. I've got enough headroom. So this is a D300 diesel, which means you get 296 brake horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque, which equates to about 516 pounds-feet, I think, something like that. The official 0 to 60 figure is 6.1 seconds, and it really feels that quick. You can knock the gearbox into sport by clicking here. You get various drive modes, dynamic being the sportiest. You put the foot down, it kicks down really quickly. Where this car comes into its own is its overtaking ability and motorway joining. If you're coming down a slip road, 30 to 70 it does in 5.2 seconds, according to my race logic box, which is impressive for such a big and heavy car. Of course, when you're just wafting around and maybe just wanting to chill to some smooth chill or jazz FM, whatever your music vibe is, put it in a comfort and it just glides over terrain. Through town I found it to be a little bit bouncy when you hit any kind of major big potholes or ruts. It did judder a fair bit, but the comfort setting is great on the open roads. You know, it handles most of the bumps as you would expect really well. And once you're at cruising speeds on the motorway, for instance, my little sound meter recorded 64.7 decibels at 70 miles an hour, which is not bad. So it is remarkably quiet. On to the negatives. Here's the thing, it's a 70 grand car with all the trimmings and etc. I don't know if it feels it. That's the thing. For instance, so this is a little bit scratchy up here. I mean, you can hear it, but it's soft touch. It's not like cheap plastic. For instance, the cowl, on the other hand, is not soft touch. That's kind of scratchy. Down here, my wife was sitting in the car next to me when we were doing our, you know, our journeys. I've noticed here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a little bit of scuffing on this Alcantara. It could probably be wiped off with a wet cloth, but you know, at the end of the day, it's annoying and it doesn't actually seem to be coming off. Another thing is this touchscreen and the lack of buttons that I said earlier. In here, you've got your drive selector, you have a mobile phone charger, space for some money, you know, know you've got a USB-C charger, split storage with a USB-C charger. The steering wheel has some of your necessary buttons like this here for your lane keep assist. Your heated steering wheel, most of the settings are changed via this touchscreen. There was a few times where I was on the road and I asked my wife to change the climate settings, for instance, because you're faffing around so much in here by clicking this button, and then you've got another series of sub-menus in here that add to the confusion, especially when you're driving down a road doing 60 miles an hour. It does have a whole host of options in here. Of course, you've got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You know, it's got cameras, also got a reversing camera scoosher. If I've got the rear wiper on and hit the rear wash button, you'll see the camera squirts. Got your door buttons down here. There's I don't know if you can see that. Cue the annoying bings and bongs. But there you go, you've got more buttons down here. Sure, there's got to be ways that they can hopefully make it easier for us drivers to change some settings without crashing and without having to ask your passenger princess to do it, or prince, whatever. So moving on to efficiency. According to the trip computer, my average, wait a minute, for my 200-ish mile trip is 39.6 miles per gallon, which is fantastic. I tend to reset the trip computers whenever I go on a single trip, and I keep one rolling in the background to get an idea of the overall week versus a single trip. That was over motorways, town driving, back roads, you name it. The only thing I haven't done in this car is off-road it, simply because farmers would be very, very upset with me if I had to take to their fields, and around where I stay is lots of farmers' fields. So I need to find a way of being able to really take this car off-road, or press cars that I get through that are off-roaders. I need to find a way to actually put them through their paces. Through most trips I was getting about 35 to 37 miles per gallon, and that was me using just the comfort setting. There is an eco setting in this car. Did it make much difference? Not really. I did feel a difference in the ride quality. It must shut down some of the fancy suspension. I don't know how it does that. This is my verdict on the Range Rover Velar. D300 is, in my opinion, underwhelming. That's the 4-cylinder entry-level car. It does return quite a decent economy figure, but if you are looking for a good all-rounder, then the D300 is the way to go. The higher spec models are a bit overkill. You get really good performance with this car in gear, off the line. If you take it easy and stay off the gas, you will get circa 40 miles per gallon on a decent run. There's a lot of room in the back for 2 dogs, and there's enough space in the rear for your passengers, especially 6-footers. There's enough space up front. There's lots of fancy tech. The downsides are that you are dealing with a touchscreen all the time. Jaguar Land Rover have, of course, incorporated a lot of buttons onto the steering wheel. You'll get used to finding those buttons as you drive the car more, and you'll know where everything lives. Like the touchscreen, it takes a bit of getting used to, but it would be nice to see some more physical buttons in a car like this, especially when we've had some before in previous models. It concludes how I feel about the Range Rover Velar. A good performer, a good all-rounder. Expensive, gets some scratchy plastics, but there are some nice soft touch materials. It's comfortable. I hope you found this video interesting. Thanks again for watching.